Hello everyone here. So it's my pleasure to be here again to be give the speech. I think last year I went to KVRF, and it's getting more and more professional and more technical experts to join the KVRF this year. So let me introduce myself first. Like, I'm heading the HR business, but I'm also in Taipei headquarters to be responsible for the product strategy and technology. So today I want to talk about little like VIVE strategy and also how we see the VR ecosystem. I think HTC in very focus in the VR technology, and we try to push the ecosystem moving forward from all aspects. So I think I start to introduce HTC first. So HTC today is the 21st year of HTC. We started back to 1997, and we usually we feel the innovation is our gene. We always try to innovate many new things. We think ourselves as communication innovator. When we started from PDA and then PDA phone, and then we make the first 3G Windows phone. And later on, we have the Android phone, and I'm lucky to work with Google to bring the first Android phone to the world. And also HTC brought the first 4G Android phone to the field as well. So back to 2013, 2014, our CEO, our chairwoman, they start to experience this VR, and they feel it is a very potential, can be the game changer technology for the human beings. So talking about the VIVE, this is our brand. From the beginning, our company feels when people talk about the technology, they talk about the imagination, they talk about humanity. But actually, there could be some technology to bring them together. And it's a whole thing. It's experiences to the user. So this is how we see VR technology. We think it can bring technology, humanity, and imagination together. So this is our vision. We think the VR is the technology to unleash human imagination from the limitations of reality. By using VR, you can go anywhere. You can go to any time, or you can even become anybody. I think that's really can break the limitation, right? So even it is very hard. I heard it's very hard this year in Korea. But you can still try the Ivory's experiences to bring you to the top of the mountain. In our VR business unit, we have 4 major teams try to push the whole ecosystem together. So this is our view, like how we see the VR technology. We have a team working on the hardware ecosystem. It's like we're starting to do the hardware business. But we also have a team working on the platform side. It's a VIVE team. And we have one team to build a content. It's a VIVE studio, and also work with the studio team to publish the content. And also we have a very special team working on the accelerator to help the AR, VR startup companies to get the resource. So let me start from the hardware first. So this is our current portfolio. We have the best VR, VIVE Pro, just launched this year. And we have VIVE, launched 2016. We think it's still the highest CP value product and the best tracking system for the gamers. And also we launched VIVE Focus in China, and we think this is a good step to try out the mobile VR with the all-in-one to see how can we bring VR to the more mass market. So when we launch VIVE, I think it gets lots of work, but I think we're doing even better this year. When we launched the VIVE Pro, at CES. Also, we demonstrate our wireless adapter. We got 29 awards immediately after CES. And today, I want to show this video. Yeah, I want to explain more why HTC want to do the wireless. I think when we launched VIVE, we actually start to collect all the feedbacks from developers, from consumers. There's one feedback is some users, they have concerns about the wire. So after, during that time, we start to look at the technology. And eventually we work with Intel to leverage the Intel WiGig technology to bring the wireless adapter to the field. So we launched the wireless adapter. We just announced last week. For our wireless adapter, you can use up to 6 meter by 6 meter space. And with the current default battery, you can use 2.5 hours. And with the bandwidth, because using 16 gigahertz frequency, at that bandwidth, you can have 3 users to the same space at the same time. With this technology, at the beginning, we have PCIe card. You probably need to have the PCIe card. So for the laptop users, I think we're still working on some solutions. We're talking with Intel for different type of solutions. And we will launch in Korea in 2018, November timeframe. For this wireless adapter, actually it can support both VIVE 1.5 and also the VIVE Pro, both. And this is the current price for the wireless adapter. So if you have VIVE Pro and then you have wireless adapter, you put them together, you can have the freedom, like the below picture. You can do backflip, you can jump, you don't need to worry about the cable, you don't need to worry about to be trapped down. So this is really we want to bring to the user, to bring to the enterprise to totally free the experiences. So for the KVRF, we also were happy to announce a new promotion. So if you buy VIVE Pro whole set together with wireless adapter during the KVRF, I think we have a special price less than 2.2 million Korean won. Okay, the next one I want to introduce our VIVE port. So this is our second team working on the platform. So when we're in the VR experiences, you need to have a full experience to help people to enjoy the content. So that's why we have the VIVE port to bring the content, help the user to find the content and then to use the content. And then we redesigned the VIVE port this year to be the VR first. So we no longer design these experiences through the PC, through the 2D interface, but it is really a true 3D experiences you can explore and you can get all the necessary information in the VR headset. And we have very unique business model in our VIVE port. Of course, you can do a standard way to pay and to download it, but also we have the subscription model. There's lots of discussion around the subscription model, but I think at this stage, it can help the developers, can help the consumers, since when they start to join the VR, it's very difficult to identify which content they like the most. So with the subscription model, in US, you pay $8 per month. You can select 5 applications to try for the whole month. And then for next month, you can try another 5. So the developers, their content can be much more easier to be trialed by the users. And the users, they can pay less to do the to test more VR contents. So we think it's a very important new business model to help the VR ecosystem. But I think at the beginning, even the last 2 years, of course, VivePort support the VIVE head mount. It's a platform of the VIVE. It's a store for the VIVE, so we support the VIVE platform. But if you think about the developers, they want to have more way to monetize back. So that's why our VivePort, we just announced, we're going to support the Oculus hardware, Oculus Rift as well. I think with the subscription model, we will have hundreds of Oculus contents. So if you have an Oculus headset, you can also do the VivePort subscription to use the Oculus content as well. So I think this is the different angle we try to push the ecosystem moving forward. And the third one is VIVE Studios. We have internal studios. We have been the publisher to help the US content to China content to Western world. So we're trying to leverage our own experiences to support, create more better VR experiences. And also, I think we're trying something more, like Ready Player One. We collaborate with them closely.
A whole virtual universe.
When I was writing Ready Player One, virtual reality was still this science fiction thing in the future that we didn't have. And now we actually had the HTC VIVE on the set.
Wow.
So it was amazing that the virtual reality technology that has come about just since the book has been published was used in the movie.
This is the coolest thing ever.
One of the interesting things about a virtual production is that you're creating all of these sets and characters in the computer. And the great thing about that is that we could bring Steven in and he would put on the really high fidelity headset VR and we could load up that environment and he could scout it virtually.
Oh, wow.
And of course, because he's a filmmaker, as soon as he would start walking around a location, he would start thinking about shots.
I needed to know where to put my camera, so they created an avatar for me that you never get to see. But my avatar had a virtual camera. I could either do frame grabs, or I could do actual shots by walking through the virtual sets. I'm getting shots on a V-Cam in a V-World. This is crazy.
And the cool thing about the Vive is that he could say, I don't want that, move that out of the way, or remove this. And in real time, an artist kind of off to the side could just make adjustments kind of on the fly.
The best place would be on this particular platform here.
So it's a really interesting way of designing shots and designing your sets kind of in real time.
Because in the background, you've got the Iron Giant. It's pretty cool.
Any director or actor is quite used to reacting to their environment and understanding where they are. And so shooting a motion capture movie can be a slightly strange experience.
You're acting in a white room with a white ceiling and white walls and a bunch of computer cameras looking down at you. It's confusing for any actor and a director to walk onto a bare naked set and try to imagine what's there. So I asked each of the actors to also put on the headsets and enter the virtual set so we didn't have to imagine. It was there. All we had to do was remember.
Shooting a motion capture is challenging in many ways, and you can't really get a sense of what it's like to be in the room or what it's like to be surrounded by the environment. So to put on the Vive was completely free.
So our studio team actually work with the Ready Player One pretty close, but also we have the IP for the Oasis. So we create the Oasis experiences for Vive. And also, our studio, we recently just announced a new, I would say a new content. It's 7 Miracles. It's new steps to not only the computer-generated content, but it's also cinematic VR experiences. 7 Miracles actually are the stories from the Bible, but we try to bring the stories to the VR environment. So some of them will be 360 videos, but some of them will be volumetric scenarios. So we do believe very soon we're going to launch these 7 Miracle experiences, not only in VIVE, but also the other platforms as well. So this is also another step from our VIVE studios to step out from the gaming content to the cinematic VR content. And the last one is ViveX. It's a global AR/VR accelerator. So we have San Francisco, Shenzhen, Beijing, Taipei, and Israel office. And this year, for the batch 4, we also enable London office to have better services to the new startups around the worldwide. So we have 6 locations. We got a batch 4, and we dedicate to support the AR/VR companies to help them to bring the resources to the market, either to the venture capital, or we have the demo day, and we can help them to do the business engagement as well. So besides our business units, we also create some projects, because for the ecosystem, we now see the gaming industry, because of the VR, is very unique for the interactive, for the 3D. There's more and more initiative coming out. If you go downstairs, you see lots of different new ideas to bring the gaming experiences to the VR. But from the ecosystem point of view, we want to push further. We want to create more experiences to the different category. That's why we start to bring the program called VIVE Arts. We think art is a very unique area where we want to push VR technology to this category. So last year and this year, we start to work with Royal Academy of Arts. So we have done a couple of programs with them to do the demo, and also they can do exhibition. And also we work with the Tate Museum in UK as well, so that they can, using VR, combine with some painting together to do a special exhibition. And in this year, in Hong Kong, there's Art and Basel event. This is also the first time we work with 2 famous artists, Marina and Anish. So the way we created is not to duplicate some painting from the reality to the virtual space, or we just tell the story. I think these 2 artists, they try to leverage the characteristic of VR, and then using VR as a creation platform. So with the VR interactive characteristic, they create the artwork which the user can interact with. So it's not a one piece of the art anymore. It will be an interactive model. And also, I'll show you the latest, the new art we're seeing in Louvre, people using the virtual reality. So you know this painting is the very famous, this Liberty of France. So, but Anna is also a famous French artist. So he tried to use virtual reality to explore the possibility how VR can work with the painting. So we do see the VR, when we bring the VR platform to the artist, I think it's evolved to make VR as a new creation platform. So we'll see different new type of artists which can be use the VR technology in the future. And we also have another program called VR for Impact. This is a very special program. We have some budget allocated to work with the different teams if their topics is supporting the sustainable development goals. So we want to bring VR to different areas to change people's life, to help people, to save Earth. So this is the program for VR for Impact. So we usually recruit the teams every year, and then we give them funding to bring different topics to the world, which can help these 17 goals. So for example, these are a couple topics we actually sponsored them before. Like some things they using VR to track the whole life of the bee, and then when people really experiences this VR, they understand how important the bee is, and then how should we support the environment to protect them. And also there's a space VR. I think the project for them is very interesting. They try to put some VR camera to the satellite so that you can see the Earth, you can see the space anytime in VR. So we will keep working on this project because we think this type of a project will bring VR to different use cases and really can go to people's life. And also, I think the next couple slides is more about our vision. So we're thinking about what's the 2019 and beyond, since we move to the hardware side, software side, content, and even accelerator and arts. There's a very important technology topics recently is 5G. So all the carriers among the worldwide, I think they will try to launch 5G. And lots of people, they understand 5G is very high bandwidth. But actually there's a very important feature is low latency. So we do think these two features combined are very important for the VR. Think about the services. When we have 3G, it brings up the social and photo services. When we have 4G, that's why streaming video gets very popular. You see there's many streaming services coming recently. But 5G, we do believe you need some additional services to get people change their phone, change their devices to leverage the capacity of 5G. And VR can be a very important feature, very important services to really work with 5G together. That's why we bring the VIVE Reality this year. We do believe in VR, AR. We totally agree with Paul. The VR, AR is a technology continuum. There's no competition between them. It's more complementary. We think the VIVE Reality is how we bring the experiences to the user with VR or AR, with 5G. And on the server side, you get an AI running, lots of algorithm, and lots of the digital rights, lots of transaction, lots of contract. You need to go with the blockchain. And that can bring a total digital experiences to the end user. So we bring the VIVE Reality to the world, try to bring all this technology together. But there's lots of challenges. In the AR, you need to talk about the AR cloud, and even 5G, that's pretty tough. But luckily, we've been working on 2G, 3G, 4G, so I think HTC team can overcome that. The input control gesture, computer vision, like the battery, form factor, all these are challenges. But HTC, when we try to bring VR, AR technologies, we have hardware team, we have content team, we have studio team, we have lots of startup ecosystem to support us. So we do believe in the near future, we want to bring VIVE Reality to the field. And this is the vision we're thinking in the future people would like to use, combine all of them. So you probably, a certain day, you just need a glass. It can be the AR glass. When you do running, you can do lots of the overlay with different goals, with the objects. You can do social. Your friends can cheer for you. And you can do streaming out. And then you can see your route. You can see lots of information. But all this, it's a combination of all the technology above. And this is our vision. And then we try to move the VR ecosystem forward to our vision. And thank you very much. And if you have the time, come to our booth at the first floor to try out our wireless adapter. Thank you.